Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this fine Wednesday morning?
Post-Christmas, pre-New Year's, and so excited to be getting through this holiday season. I always love this time of year just to know that we're, start this whole thing all over again. This part I just absolutely love. How about you? How was your holiday?
Same. It was lovely. Just filled with so much joy. And it was really cool. My parents have COVID, so I didn't see them. But as soon as they get better, we'll all celebrate together. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, it's going around, lots of little buggies, but also somebody celebrated a trip around the sun. That would be you. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, it's big stuff.
Big stuff. Big 5-1, baby. I'm closer to 100 than I am to 0.
Oh, but you're just a baby. I still have a number of years on you. So, yeah, still just a baby. Baby in the whole scope of things.
Yeah. So, it's so fun. So, like when we've been touching base during the week and just thinking about, kind of doing like a whole year in review with crypto, right?
Right.
So, like 2022, what a rough year,
Yeah, I was actually kind of reflecting in 2021 and 2022. I really was having a hard time. I was like, wow, what was what? I mean, it's like thinking through it. It's like, even though 2021 and 2022 were vastly different, I was like, gosh, yeah, what a wild ride it's been.
Yeah, so wild. So this is what I was thinking. We have our Q&A class is this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. And I was thinking, if you feel like a fish out of water when it comes to crypto, join our Q&A class.
There you go. There's lots of questions.
This is my birthday present from my cousin Chris. It's like half the size of our house because we live in a tiny house.
That's a good cuddle. That's a cuddle one for sure. It's a cuttlefish. Is it a cuttlefish? There you go. That's a cuttlefish. That's very cool.
So funny. But yeah, so, like I said, it's really interesting when I think about, 2021, we're like in this bull market. At the end of 2022, like now we're in a bear market. But the thing is, like when I think about it, we're just starting to transition into the new economy.
Yep, absolutely.
So, it's kind of exciting.
Oh, for sure. And I don't know if you read this morning that I think Russia has released its first gold-backed. I just went blank. Let me find it real quick. Its first gold-backed digital finance. Yeah, digital asset. I released it. So we knew that was coming.
Yeah, I really think, looking ahead in 2023, I could see so many changes happening, with Russia, China, all of the BRICS nations like Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, and Brazil. I'm just, I think about it and it's like, I think Egypt just joined the BRICS nations. So I can see more and more countries moving ahead are going to keep joining BRICS, and less people are going to be trading using the United States SWIFT system.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes sense that you're seeing Russia have a gold-backed digital currency coming out, as well as, cross-border payments are really going to be changing heavily this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just super interesting to kind of take a look at that.
The stage has been being set.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I went back and I was looking at, some of our older podcasts from a year ago. And it was just February. We were talking about all the different commercials that were on the Super Bowl.
I know last year there was some big name endorsements between FTX and crypto.com and Mr. Matt Damon up there and saying, what, history favors the bold. Is that the quote?
Yeah, I think it was brave.
Brave.
Yeah, history favors the brave.
Yeah.
And just last week, we were joking around saying, be bold, buy Bitcoin. And it's interesting because I think 2022 has been so eye-opening to see how much the media is spreading the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and how people are so skeptical of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But at the same time, this is the new economy. Like with all the research that we've been doing, adoption has not slowed down.
Right.
There's so much development on all these different platforms. I think the development on the Cardano platform for smart contracts is up 400% for 2022.
Wow.
So what do we think it's going to be in the next bull cycle?
Yeah. Who knows?
Right?
Who knows? Yeah. It's exciting.
It's so exciting. And we're actually seeing these platforms like turn into something with real use cases.
Yeah, and it's it is wild to think, and I don't know if it seems to be more U.S. based, that there is more and more FUD that's being conveyed here than it is in other parts of the world. But for sure, they don't want us necessarily thinking it's a viable option. So I love to see the fact that Cardano is definitely building it out, continuing all of them.
Yeah.
It gives me a great deal of hope for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, and just to see, we saw so many commercials, right? In the beginning of 2022, the media's narrative was so pro crypto. And it's funny because we hit peak and they're telling everybody to buy crypto when we're at the peak bull market starting to go down. And now that crypto is down, significantly.
Oh, yeah.
Now crypto's bad.
Right.
So, it's a learning lesson for all of us. And, we're looking for the truth and we're just muddling through all this research, trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah. Well, just like life, it's all a journey. It's all a puzzle. You got to learn how to play the game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah. So, I mean, I was thinking about too, like, when that Coinbase did their Superbowl commercial with that QR code,
mm-hmm.
and how many people didn't even understand what it was and how far we've come. Like Kelly, think about it. No one in the media, in the government, no one was talking about crypto just a couple years ago. And now it's like a national security measure.
Well, it's just interesting. If you just even take a QR code, how long have QR codes been out in the world? They've been out for a long time. They really have. But they are definitely gaining use case anymore with this digital. I mean, it's like I'm seeing it out in the industry in regards to sales and functionality out in like stores in the retail market. You're seeing QR codes everywhere. Like if you go into, I mean, it's really interesting to me because I remember when QR codes first came out, and it took me a long time to even have any desire to deal with them. But menus are QR codes, and it's super simple for salespeople to, like, if you're a flooring rep or something of that nature, you can update your pricing on your QR code, and you no longer have to go into, your flooring customer and update all the pricing on the back. It's all done digitally. So, it's just everything. At least where I'm at, I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, you're where you are. So Kelly lives in Portland, so it's you guys are so way more advanced than like where I am in my small town of 5,000 people.
Sure.
I'm just starting to see some QR codes. Um, but I was hanging out with my cousin last night and I was talking to his girlfriend, and they live in Westchester, New York, so right outside of Manhattan. And I'm like, what's it like when you go to the grocery store? Because it's different depending on where you live. And there's robots at the Stop and Shop in Westchester, like just
Yeah,
following you around. And again, it's like we've been trying to tell people, look, artificial intelligence is here, automation is here, and it's only going to accelerate from here on out.
yeah, absolutely. Get ready. The next couple years is going to be mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah. When I was thinking about all the different QR codes and just the development of automation and AI, I started thinking about Ripple came out with that article and saying like the majority of the world's population is going to be transitioning into like an open banking system. And we can see, which is just a mobile app on your phone, so we can see the competition, I think, throughout 2023 into 2024, with people starting to transition to using more and more mobile apps for their banking services, having your paychecks and just paying for things with QR codes on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you do that now, Kelly? Like, do you pay for things with a QR code?
You can do it through Venmo, but I'm really, I don't use Venmo that often. I try not to, at least.
Yeah.
You can do it through Venmo. You can use a QR code. So your profile is a QR code if you choose to send it to somebody that way, and then they can just scan that QR code and access you that way. Outside of that, no. But I mean, when was the last time you used a check? I just moved recently, right? And so I actually had to pull up my bank account, checking account number, and routing number to get it set up for something. And I had to dig through my boxes to find a checkbook. It's like, oh my God, seriously? I need to find my checking account information. So that was really interesting. And of course, Andrea and I have been around the sun a few times. And back in the day, when we first got debit cards, that was a huge thing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, we no longer have to write checks, or at least not as frequently. So, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see with Venmo and everything with the taxes? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's super important. So,
Yeah, it's super important that they postponed it. So, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so the IRS has postponed everybody. You don't have to report the over $600 on your Venmo account or your Zelle um, on your taxes this year. So it's going to be postponed 1 year. They're not ready yet.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. I think that there's a double-edged sword there. I think that it's great because there's a lot of back and forth payments that are made just for going out to dinner, yada, 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 whatever you guys are doing with your third-party apps. But at the same point in time, if it was an income-producing activity, they still have it. So if you still need to be mindful when you're doing your taxes, if it was truly, it could be a little bit of a snare as well. So still, be mindful of what and how you're reporting things.
Yeah, I mean, pay your taxes, but it's just nice to know that we have another year to figure this out. And don't forget, like if you're using Venmo or Zelle, just download the Trust Wallet or the SafePal software wallet and do peer-to-peer transactions. You're going out to dinner, you're buying people gifts, you're splitting the cost, whatever it may be. You don't need to have it on a centralized third-party exchange.
Right, exactly. And I would be a proponent of using those wallets, loading up your wallet with USDC, right?
Yeah.
Just put $300 of your fiat currency on that and start getting used to the process without having to own a cryptocurrency, but own a digital currency, USDC, and start understanding how the process works.
Yeah, so smart, so smart. Yeah, because I think this year is really going to be a good learning curve to learn how to send and receive, whether it's USDC, Bitcoin, XRP, whatever it is. Everyone needs to learn how to send and receive these coins, because
Yes.
this is the future of finance. This is part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
you know and Kelly and I, we always talk about diversification. So it's not just crypto, right? It's having physical gold and physical silver. And I think, like, this holiday season, Kelly and I were encouraging people, you know buy somebody like a silver coin, right, for Christmas, or a round or something like that. And wouldn't you know, so, like, shout out to Patty. I don't know if everybody can see that, but this is an Ethereum collectible silver coin.
Awesome.
Isn't that so
Nice
cool?
job, Patty.
Yep, yep. And then you got all these cool things. I got a Bitcoin silver coin that's like has an owl on the back, like anonymous mint. And it's, so these are collectible items that could go up in value. And the same with copper, right? I think copper's part of the fourth industrial revolution.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be scarce. So, we got these half-pound copper bars, and they're super heavy, and it's just so cool. But again, these are fantastic gifts that just keep on giving. Just like this is a legal $2 bill.
Yeah.
This is a $2 bill, Bitcoin bill,
Awesome.
legal tender in the United States. So it just, this isn't going away. This is just starting to become, more and more mainstream. And we're going to continue to see this throughout the next year or two.
Gosh, there's a coin store in the area that I live in, and they do a lot of collectible coins, but they're doing all of the ones of antiquity. And I go in there every now and again just to see what they have, and and I mention it to them all the time, and they're like, "Nah, no way." I'm like, "Oh man, guys, you're missing out here.
Yeah.
Gotta, pull back the curtain, as I always say, peek behind the veil, and do something different." So yeah.
Yeah. And I think, it's going to take some folks time. Like, we're early, like, we're kind of like the pioneers. Like, we saw the change, and we, like we always say, like, we stepped out of line and we dove in and we did the research, and this is what we're finding. And it's just like when we think about open banks and we think about the central banks, they're going to be doing their central bank digital currency. Russia's moving to some sort of digital asset for cross-border payments. This is happening all around the world. Every country, every state is going to be moving to the blockchain.
Yeah, I think it's Russia's largest bank that has rolled out with this, and I think it's part of their wanting to negotiate that peace agreement, whatever that looks like, in whatever context that is. But it's always, I think it's really interesting, the timing of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because cross-border payments, they're changing right now. So it's happening right now, and again, I think it's just going to be more and more. We're going to see more and more adoption. And then when everybody starts to see it, we'll see, like, the mass majority of folks come into this, and really during the next bull cycle, we're going to see the same thing, and people are going to start reaching out to us, and they're going to be like, should I buy some Bitcoin? And it's going to be like 50 grand. So we're just encouraging everyone, let's look at this year in review, and let's just be like, is Bitcoin going to go to zero, or is Bitcoin moving towards mass adoption?
Right, exactly.
Yep. I know. It's kind of exciting.
Have a sweet little smile going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. So the whole landscaping of of the way that we transact with money is changing, and it's going to be digital. It's going to be on our phone, and it's all good. It's all good. Now, we've been talking a lot about central bank digital currencies as well. And I did hear that for the United States, the least dystopian CBDC is going to be the United States central bank digital currency. If they move forward like this, there will be a privacy component, and we're going to watch this. They could change it at any minute. I mean, we saw Sam Bankman-Fried working with all of the regulatory agencies in the United States government, putting together a framework for digital assets clarity, right? To get regulation to crypto. And the guy was a huge scammer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, I do, it's going to take some time, but I'm hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the United States moves towards this way, and they should, because if the United States wants to stay in power, let the people keep their privacy, because everyone's going to want the dollar. It's really all we have left, right? I think. Because we don't have the trust in the institutions. We've weaponized the SWIFT system. We're weaponizing people's accounts.
Right.
I mean, I was at my birthday party yesterday and people were talking about, the mom from the Girl Scout troop who couldn't get into the Christmas spectacular. Like, it's going around.
Right.
So people do understand, and we need to have privacy, because whether your narrative is accepted today doesn't mean it's going to be accepted 6 months or a year or two from now. So everybody needs to be free, especially with your money.
Well, and I think that the reality is too, is that everybody's going to know. I mean, nothing that you've done and or will do is going to be private, in my opinion. It doesn't matter.
Right. But
should it be? Absolutely. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to spend, at least $5 and not have to tell the government, hey, I just bought a Snicker bar.
Well, yeah, thank goodness for digital currencies then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we do have that.
Sure.
So, the other thing I really wanted to think about too is like, just with the failure of FTX, Voyager, Celsius, we saw 3 Arrows Capital, Alameda, BlockFi, and just the corruption like surrounding Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm really starting to think like just that massive power grab, right? Like, who is going to control the currency in the future? Is it going to be the IMF? Is it going to be the World Bank, the World Economic Forum? Or are those agencies going to fail?
Yeah, that's a great question.
So this is something we're definitely going to be tracking this year, because they are moving full steam ahead, looking to centralize more things. And at the same time, Kelly and I are showing up every week and we're like, hey, y'all, these centralized systems are no bueno. They're failing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch it continue to play out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be awesome to watch. It's real. And to even watch these systems get more and more interoperable with each other. They're connecting. That internet of value is growing, like each system is building a bridge to connect to another blockchain. And when they're all connected and it's all scalable, and we can do probably like hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, because it is coming, and it's coming fast.
Yeah. Very fast.
We're going to start singing, "It's a whole new world."
I don't know. Oh, thank goodness for if those of you that have been tuning in for these many, many months now know that Andrea is an amazing parodic songwriter. She can really put some things together. As a matter of fact, on that subject, real quick segue, as I was watching when I was working late last night, listening to Weird Al. I was listening to the whole thing. I mean, it's like, he has that uncanny knack as well. And like, oh my gosh, this is Andrea in the making, doing all the crypto songs. Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks. And it's just been so much fun. And it's really hard. These are really complicated technical platforms. So to be able to write a song and to help bring education in 5 minutes or less, right? Just
Yeah.
even to pick up a small nugget of information. Like
Yeah.
we always talk about like our dump cash song, with the Dodd-Frank Act. And like it's really important that everyone knows what the Dodd-Frank Act is, and that the banks have legal authority to bail themselves out with your deposits in the bank account,
Right.
you know, as well as FTX.
Yeah. It's just wild.
You know what I mean? So, and to think about who knows what FTX spent all their customer funds on. I hope this gets more and more unveiled in the months to come. I believe the next hearing for Sam Bankman-Fried, I think it's January 9th.
Yeah, I'm sure that much of the details will be redacted, but for the general population. But I'm hoping there's some revelations made that help bring some, well, not just clarity, but really it brings some equilibrium to those that were affected by it. So that's the most important piece.
Yeah, and it's going to be a haul. It's going to be a haul. Like all of these companies are going through bankruptcy, and until that ends, like that's when everyone will get settled out. And hopefully, if you had an account with Celsius, you had an account with Voyager, FTX, hopefully you'll get some of your money back. You're not going to get all of it back. Like keep your fingers crossed as you're going to get a portion of it back. And hopefully that deal will go through with Binance. There's so much FUD around the CEO, like not the CEO, but the founder of Binance, CZ. Like we don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. That's the thing. Like you don't even know who you can even trust in like this leadership. Like we don't know if these people are good or bad.
Yeah. Yep, very true.
But you know what I do know, Kelly? I'm just going to do it.
Okay, I was wondering.
I think that after 2 years, see that? I
Yeah.
think that the XRP lawsuit's going to go to the finally end. We're at over 2 years. Over 2 years. I
You
got to
thought
show.
that it would be this year.
I think it's going to be this year. I mean, there's so much speculation, right? People are guessing. Charles Hodgkinson, I mean, he's been bashing XRP. So many people have been bashing XRP. So I think that the settlement is coming.
Well, how many days do we have? We have 3 days?
Until the end of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think it's going to happen. That would be like,
so.
what a great holiday present.
Well, with everybody on holiday, they won't do it right now, but yeah, it's going to be good.
No, but hopefully the first half of 2023, just as long as we don't go to the appellate courts, right? So I know Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, he's not going to settle without XRP getting clarity. Okay. And again, this is only for the United States. So every other country, people, like countries and just institutions, banks, they're all adopting XRP as a currency.
Yep. It's why here in the United States, they just make it a lot more difficult across the board.
Well, of course. And it makes sense, right? Because we have the world reserve currency. So we want that as long as we possibly can, because we are not going to hold the world reserve currency for much longer.
Right. But the US makes it difficult across the board for cryptocurrency acquisition. There's a lot of coins that we can't have access to, but that's okay.
Yeah. And you can still get XRP on Uphold, and they only hold your coins now for 4 days instead of 65.
Yeah. That's a great shift.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge gift. And they've been under the radar. They're giving really good staking rates, and they've been under the radar with like going, they're not going to be insolvent, hopefully. They are looking to go public. So we want to keep an eye on this, because for these on and off ramps. If you don't like Coinbase, you can use Uphold now, which is kind of cool.
Sure. Perfect.
And I still think we're going to see more fallout in the beginning of this year because of FTX and Tether and all of these things. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this for sure.
Yeah, wild.
Yep.
So exciting.
Totally. So, for me, I'm looking to accumulate more Bitcoin. Got my Bitcoin socks on, right? I'm like all my crypto gear. The holidays are here. So I love getting crypto presents. This was awesome. But
That
like,
is so cool.
yeah, I mean, accumulating Bitcoin, accumulating Ethereum, Chainlink, some of those like ISO 20022 tokens, just things that solve real world issues. This is going to be a year of cross-border payments. We're going to start seeing more and more tokenization of real estate, more smart contracts. So Proppy, and maybe that's something we could do a deep dive on, is like one of the leading companies that are tokenizing the real estate market.
Is that the one that we talked about months ago? Yeah.
Yep. So to me, it's still the leader. And I can see as the real estate market goes down, right? Because interest rates are going up, that's going to push the price of housing down. They're going to tokenize it. And then anyone can go and own a piece of real estate without coming up with like 20%, right? To put down on like a rental or something like that. So I do see all new ways of earning money and increasing our wealth and increasing passive income. And I think that's going to be a huge focus for us for 2023 is creating more and more passive income.
Oh, absolutely. Because if you're not doing that, your employment, what you're currently doing, is going to be replaced by automation across the board for a lot of individuals.
Yes.
So I think it's really, really important to be thinking about what are you going to do to supplement your income stream.
Absolutely. And it's just like if you're, we talk about this all the time, but like if you're an accountant, even if you're a chef, in Texas, they have the first fully automated McDonald's. So you go to the drive-through, you're talking to AI, you make your order, you pull up, the bag falls down this chute, it pushes it out, and you grab your bag and you're on your way. No human is doing that. Flippy is flipping your burgers and making your fries. Sippy is pouring your drink. And we're going to see mass adoption of this automation throughout 2023. So when the government told us to stay home and watch Netflix, I was like, they're rolling out these automated systems. They are ready. You know what I mean? And it's not because McDonald's can't pay $20 an hour, because look at McDonald's profits.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's even here in Oregon, you can't pump your own gas. Okay. It's illegal to pump your own gas. But they now have automated digital robots that pump your gas for you in some places. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, and here that's a big employment. I mean, there's a lot of people employed by pumping gases, here in this state.
Yeah. So. I mean, pumping gas, and just think about how many fast food restaurants there are.
Well, just listening to YouTube, everybody's on YouTube, everybody's listening to shorts and everything else. You can tell when it's an automated voice. There's a lot of those videos that are just being fed into a system and just being pumped out.
Yep. And how long and when until we don't know the difference?
Right. Well, I mean, there's some of them that unless you hear the cadence and you see it and it's like, God, that tonation is always the same, but anyway, just it's right here.
Yeah. So again, mass adoption of automation, continuation of digitization. We're going to see more tokenization. I mean, these are just crazy words that we never even talked about, right? Like,
Yeah,
and here we
absolutely.
are. Yeah, getting like mass adopted. And again, like an understanding too, like the importance of centralization and decentralization. And I think that's it's so important to understand the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good point.
Yeah, yeah, because when I think about the central bank digital currency and like if I have to download that Fed app, and again, I know most people are going to do it and they're not going to think about it, but like how that would how that would make me feel.
Or the real IDs that are being rolled out from state to state.
Right.
That's all
Yeah.
a precursor of it.
So yeah, so we want to hold out as long as we can to make sure that when we are forced to get a digital ID, we go the most decentralized route we possibly can,
Right.
if we have a choice. Because I know like some of the Whole Foods markets, right, owned by Amazon, if you're not going to scan yourself, you're not getting into that grocery store.
The whole food markets are that way?
Yeah. Not all of them. They're just starting, right? So it's like Amazon Go, I think it's what it's called. So you
Oh,
just
I see.
go and you scan your QR code or your face, and then you can put all your groceries in the cart, and AI is is charging you. And
Yeah, and then you can just walk right
yeah.
out.
So when you walk out, you'll get your bill on your debit card or credit card, whatever you're using.
They've had little like convenience store, little pocket stores like that in Europe for quite some time that
And
have been unmanned, that you can just go in and walk out without your goods. So
yeah. And I think about it too, and I'm speculating, but I saw a lot of robberies going on in San Francisco and just in California in general. People are like walking in and stealing like iPhones, and everyone's letting them do it. And I wonder if it's planned that way because they're capturing your face to make everything better. Like we're going to see like automated security guards. The police are
mm,
going to be drones, like that whole defund the police. And I was, you see it, that these technologies are getting ready to be like rolled out. So if you see any like Boston Dynamics is a huge robotics company. If you see like a robotic dog, let us know. We want to know these things. We know there's stuff going on in Charlotte, there's stuff going on in New York, Boston, like any major city, but just like keep us in the loop because I know, especially for me, our town will probably be one of the last.
well, any small town will probably be one of the last, but I know that we have one of the robots in Portland. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just super interesting, super, super interesting. And I really think like the biggest thing we're going to see is finally we're going to get a bill, right? We're going to get Congress to finally pass a bill. It could be a stable coin bill. I'm hoping we get some sort of regulatory framework, but again, it's the government and they have their plan. They know exactly what they're doing. This has been going on for over 10 years, but I do see something being passed in 2023. Don't you, Kelly?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. They've been setting the stage, and I don't think they can go another year without creating that line of stability, so-called stability within the industry.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Especially after FTX burned so many people. And I didn't even know this. That Tom Brady, and I guess he got divorced, but they invested $250 million into FTX.
Yeah, no, I knew he was huge because when he and she, Giselle, I think is Janelle Bunchen, I think is her. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she was like the ambassador or the face of FTX to create. Oh yeah, it was a big deal when he got involved with FTX. So that he lost a great deal as well.
Yeah, I mean I think that's like a huge chunk.
Yeah, a huge chunk. There's actually quite a few. There were quite a few big names involved with FTX.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting too. I wonder what's going to happen with like Kevin O'Leary from like Mr. Wonderful Shark Tank guy. But
right.
I think he was paid like 15 million to be the spokesperson for FTX.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of heavy hitters. Kind of, like you've talked about the Enron situation, but who was the other gentleman that did the really big thing? I know Kevin Bacon lost almost everything. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name. I can see his Maddock, right? Bernie Maddock and his whole
Oh yeah.
very, very similar Ponzi scheme
Yeah.
where a lot of really big names lost everything.
Yeah. Madoff. Madoff. Right.
Madoff, thank you. Madoff.
Maddock. You
Yeah.
want a latte with your
Yeah,
Starbucks?
sorry.
And
Maddock. I was thinking of M-A-D-D, not Maddock, but yeah, Bernie
we're
Madoff.
always
Yeah,
thinking crypto.
I know. There's a name in there.
Yeah.
It's
But
the gray hair, folks. Okay, I got lots of it.
I mean too. But it's funny though because Matic is gonna. I mean, I'm so excited for the future of Matic as well. And I think NFTs like non-fungible tokens are gonna move way beyond art and music for sure. They're gonna tokenize the bond market, the stock market. Just it takes time to change the whole financial system.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I know. And I'm so excited for the day that when we're sitting and we're talking and we're finally back into like that bull market. So this is a gift. I know it doesn't feel like a gift. We need a lot of patience. We are investors and we use this time to dollar cost average and accumulate because again, we will transition back into a bull cycle. And whether that takes a year and a half, we go up and down, with some of the, little niche markets throughout, like cross-border payments, I think is going to push a lot of these tokens up, and just the cycles. But we will be back when be like, finally, Bitcoin's back at 69,000.
Yeah, and just wait until it'll be right beyond that. So
I know, which.
Well, and the Bitcoin halving is in 2024, which is also when the next electoral year is. So talk about, I mean, they've got to find the stability within the systems by 2024 for the political landscape, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen? Are we going to be bringing stability back to our system, or are we going to be in a super unstable environment?
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, all right. Well, that's cool. So I think the last thing I just kind of wanted to mention, just to let everybody know, I have been like keeping in touch with Jerome Powell, our chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank. He's going to continue to raise interest rates for the next couple of months. So he says in 2023. So, the bear market's going to continue with no relief in sight for now. And you could see Bitcoin dropped under 17,000 over the weekend. So let's watch it. Because if there is more contagion with FTX, with the continuously rising of interest rates, it's going to push the crypto market down and we're getting better entry points.
Right. And I think it's just seasonally when everybody's on holiday, the market just has a tendency to do this. It doesn't really. So I think the first part of January, first 2 weeks, we'll see some movement.
Yep.
Yeah. Probably to the downward side, but we're not financial advisors. We're just here to entertain you.
And I hope we entertain everybody. Yep. Awesome. Well, I hope everybody had a great holiday. I think that's all I have for now. Do you have anything else, Kel?
Nope. Just wishing everybody a happy new year. Excited really, it should be fun. I continue to invest in popcorn and the theater to see what else we see rolled out for us. But no, I hope everybody had a happy holiday as well. Yeah. Looking forward to what next year holds.
All right. So until next week, everybody.
Hodl on.
Hodl on.
Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the Two Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, twowomenencrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, huddle on.